ठीक है. So now today's session, we are splitting it into roughly two parts. The first part is where I'm going to quickly introduce you to like more than 50 career options which are out there, right? And then we will have a short break, and then we will then look at some of these careers in detail, and I'm going to focus on the careers that you want me to look at, because obviously all of you have 2-3 options and we would like to spend more time on those, right? But from an exploration perspective, in the first half, just erase your thoughts about any biases you have or anything. Just be receptive to identifying what all is out there in terms of after class 10 and after class 12, what are the courses you can go for, right? So that's the first part, and we are going to run you through this. Don't worry about noting stuff. I see some of you have a pen and a book in your hand. I will be sending this presentation to the school, and they will obviously circulate it to your email addresses if you have registered it with your school. So this presentation will come to you. Most importantly, you need to be here, and this has to be a little interactive, right? So don't worry about notes and taking pictures and all. Ye sab aa jayega on email. All right. So this is a framework that I've spent the last decade building up, and obviously it's evolved over time. I think if I had this when I was back in school, I would have made some different choices in life. ये आधा तो पता भी नहीं था मुझे. It's only now that I'm doing that research have I got to know about it. And parents, let me also tell you, there are some careers here that even you would have never heard of. Obviously, students are still exploring, but there are some careers that unless you are specifically looking for it, you would not know that there is something like that exists, right? And I'm sure there are some names here which will be new for you as well. And remember, it's not always the new and emerging which is like the thing to go for. The regular traditional careers which have been around for a while are also good, right? There are obviously lots of good opportunities there. So don't keep this in mind that the new and the emerging is good and the old and the traditional is not. It's not like that. Even now, a lot of the opportunities are still in the traditional area, although the new and emerging sector is growing. But be neutral about it. It's all about what you would like to do. Don't just go for something which is different or something which is new. That's not the right way to look at it, right? What is it you would like to do, even if it falls under traditional piece? I think it's it would be something that you would enjoy and you would do well in it. So have a look at this, and I'm actually going to make this a little interactive and ask you to fill this up for me, and I'm going to move around a little bit while I do that. So firstly, have a look at this. This is a framework where you see this column called science, you see this column called commerce, you see this column called arts or humanities. All we know about all of this. And there's a column called common, which means it doesn't matter which background, which stream you're from, you can still go in for these courses. Right? So science, commerce, arts, and open to all, which is common. Those are the columns. And everything in life for me is a XY scale, right? Everything I make a matrix for. Kuch bhi chota decision bhi hoga, to what are the two parameters and where are we on it? So here also I'm looking at it that way. So those were the columns. Now let me tell you about what's there in the rows. Now I'm sure you understand that after 10th, once you make your choice of stream and subjects, after 12th, you pursue what is called a bachelor's degree or an undergraduate degree, right? So there are two of these kinds of degrees. The first one there is what requires some additional mehnat. You cannot just pass your 10th, 11th and 12th and get into these courses. It requires you to do something over and above what you're doing in school and college. Extra mehnat to get into that. And Group B are courses where you can focus on school and class 10, 11, 12, and you can get into those courses after 12th. So that's how I've bifurcated this, because your approach in 11th and 12th becomes very different depending on which bucket you are in, right? And the other thing that I have for you are the professional certification courses. Again, these are not bachelor's degree courses. This is not going to make you a graduate. This is something that you do along with a graduation. Right? And again, some stuff with an entrance and some courses without an entrance. So bachelor's degree course after 12th with entrance, without entrance, professional certification after 12th with entrance, without entrance, for which after 10th you will have to stick with the sciences, you'll have to stick with the commerce, you'll have to look at arts and humanities, or you could take any of these streams and still get into those courses after 12th. So that is the framework I have for you. And once we populate all of this, we would have covered more than 50 options, right? And I want your help in filling this up rather than me telling you that ye cell mein ye aata hai. It is always good for you to apply your minds. Are you all able to read the font a little bit? Yeah. Kids, the students will obviously say yes, but the question is more to the parents. So I will voice it over for you, ma'am. मुझे भी ज़्यादा दिख नहीं रहा है, but I'll voice it. I know it by heart, so I don't even have to refer to that slide. So help me with this. The first cell here, right? What do you think will come here? For which, after class 10, you'll have to stick with the sciences, and then after class 12, it is a proper bachelor's degree, not something that you would do as an add-on, but your main academic track, and for which there's no other way to get into those courses in India other than by taking an entrance exam. So here when we are talking about this, this is more about careers and courses. So it's more about engineering and that kind of option, right? So obviously engineering is right. Anything else? What's the other usual suspect? Medical, absolutely. So tell me, what's the name of the course? MBBS. Full form. M stands for Masters. B stands for Bachelor's. Say a Masters, Bachelor's. Okay. Or second B stands for? अच्छा तो MBBS फिर कहाँ से आया? Bachelors of Medicine and Bachelors of Surgery. So don't get bound by the sequence of it, because I think it has some Latin root. But yeah, you're right. It's Bachelors of Medicine and Bachelors of Surgery. Okay, so that's the name of the course, MBBS. Name one college like an IIT equivalent. AIMS. Okay, all right. And so we've talked about, is there an entrance exam you know of? The NEET, right? So when we talk about careers, we start with medicine, then the course, then the college, and then the exam, right? So absolutely right. But frankly, a class 5 student could have given me that answer. Now is your real test. Can you populate it with more careers? Engineering, medical, so I was expecting this answer. BSc. Okay, but does it always require an entrance exam to get in, or can I get in on the basis of my 12th grades? Mostly 12th grades, right? Yes. Which is a BSc, right? That's exactly BSc. But you're partly right, and I'm going to come back to it because there are some BSc courses that require an entrance exam. I'll speak about it as we go along. Any other options here? ISI, what's the full form, sir? Because I'm thinking about the Pakistani intelligence agency. So any career options like that here? No, I don't think so. Indian Statistical Institute, okay. BSc Math and BSc Stats. Data Science and so on. Absolutely. Actually, I don't know whether people are able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So that is what ISI, and then second is IMA, Indian Mathematical Academy. So where people can go for, thank you. So people can go for that integrated courses also. Yeah. There they can also go for the graduations and then post-graduations, mathematical sciences particularly. There are very few institutes available in the whole of India, and those are premier institutes in India.
Are you from one of those backgrounds? Because you're talking very passionately about it.
Yes, I am a mathematics by training, mathematician by training. So I love mathematics anyway. So that is one of the careers people can opt for that is not known to various peoples. And that's absolutely fantastic career. And I would suggest the people, they should not go for regular engineering, medical and all the stuff. They should go for rather.
Make that decision for them. We are trying to be as neutral as possible. Okay, so
okay,
all
sure.
Are good,
Sure.
Yeah.
So that is another thing. And then I forgot, there is one of the separate exams that is conducted by TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Sciences. And they also conduct the integrated courses and so on and so forth.
When
so
you say
people
integrated, you're talking about a master's and a PhD put together?
No, bachelor's and masters. Bachelor's and masters, both combined. Sure. So those are absolute fantastic courses, and there are regular means entrances and all the stuff that you need to give.
Actually,
and
you stole a little bit of my...
Oh, I don't want to.
No,
My sincere apologies.
Because I had some slides on this, and I was thinking that ये तो किसको पता नहीं होगा. And I thought I'm bringing something new to the audience, but you stole a little bit of my thunder, yeah, today. But ठीक है, anyways. uh, that's on a lighter note, but exactly this is what we are talking about, right? There are lots of courses out there that we need to do. Bachelor's of Planning, which is offered by a lot of architectural institutes. So that's one that you should know about, and we'll talk about it as we go along. Paramedical kya hai? Can you name a few things in paramedical? What do you think will come under this? Yes. Why don't you go first? Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you. Doctors on field. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Anything else you can think of? Physiotherapy. Absolutely. Anything else? Occupational therapy. Absolutely. So, let me tell you this. For example, suppose you have an eye problem and you are going for an eye test. The person doing that is an optometrist, who is a paramedic. However, suppose I have an injury or I need surgery, right? Or I'm getting some medicines prescribed. That's an ophthalmologist. Ophthalmology is a field of medicine. Optometry is a field of paramedical. They can't prescribe medicines, but they're still associated with that. Similar example, suppose I go to an ENT specialist for my ear, but then I can also go to an audiologist for a hearing aid. That audiologist is a medical professional. Can't prescribe medicines, but associated with the field of medicine. So it's a very broad field. I'll show you the list. There are almost 20, 25 or multiple branches in that field after 10th or 12th, right? Proper bachelor's degree courses. One thing you need to note here, and I don't know whether you'll be able to see it on the slide, but then anything which has an asterisk sign next to it requires mathematics till 12th. Anything which has a hash sign next to it requires a portfolio, which is a compilation of all your design work that you've done in the past. And anything which has this race to sign, right? That is not something that you can pursue after 12th. You have to wait for a graduation, and after that you can go for it, right? So some of those things I have also mentioned here, where there is some misconception that you can actually pursue it after school, after class 12. And journalism comes under this broader field of mass media, which also includes what, students? What do you think would come under mass media other than journalism? Filmmaking and technology, absolutely. What else? Advertising, absolutely. What else? Photography to some extent. Print media, yeah, all kinds of journalism, right? Print and broadcast and new age journalism and stuff like that. Social media, how can you forget? You're on it all the time, right? Also mass media, right? So all that will come, but predominantly 99% of the colleges don't need an entrance exam. As long as you get good marks, you can get into a Xavier's in Mumbai for a mass media, or if you want to get into a Symbiosis University here in Pune, you would need an entrance for mass media, right? Because it's a private deemed university. So there is a drama school, which is the National Institute of Drama, right? NID, which is in Delhi. And then there is an FTII, which is in Pune, Film and Television Institute of India. So one is more theatre based, one is more film based. Theatre based, you can actually get in even as an undergrad, whereas FTII is only a postgrad. You only have some certification courses while you're doing an undergrad, but if you want to do anything significant, all the FTII courses are postgrad, and you can do stuff in cinematography, screenplay, acting, editing, directing. There's a lot of stuff that you can do there, and yes, there's a very elaborate process to get into it. 2-3 steps that you need to clear, but most major courses are all postgrad courses, right? So, yeah, you mentioned design, right? So what did you have in mind when you said design? Like graphic design, okay. Tell me more. Interior design. Architecture, separate course. I know it's design related, but separate course. But within design. Product design, interior design, fashion design, game design, absolutely. Sorry? Web designing. Jewelry designing, but all the stuff that you're talking about comes under the realm of commercial art. It's called Bachelor's of Commercial Art, also called a Bachelor's of Design. There's something in design outside of this. What is that? Not commercial art. Animation. Again, commercial art. Commercial art. Design? Design engineering. That's more an approach to a solution, right? It's not a course. It's more an approach to a lot of things that people say design thinking, design engineering. It's more a way or an approach. But other than commercial art, there is something that you've... Fine arts. And what comes under fine arts? Painting, sculpture, ceramics. This is not animation and product design and fashion design. So there's a bachelor's of fine art, there's a bachelor's of commercial art. Largely, we all consider this as a design course. And a lot of the better colleges require an entrance, and almost all of them would require a portfolio, which is a collection of all the work that you've done in terms of sketching and drawing and landscape or whatever else, right? So that requires a portfolio, which is why you have a hash sign next to it. Armed forces, we spoke about it. There are non-technical courses which you can get in even without sciences, but preferably keep mathematics. Have you heard about this course called liberal arts by any chance? Liberal arts. What's it about? Ashoka University. So what is she majoring in? Okay. So the deal here is that suppose you say, yaar, mujhe biology bhi pasand hai, I like a little bit of accounts, I also like psychology, and I want to pursue a little bit of everything and then figure out what I want to major in. So here's a course. It should actually be called liberal studies. Liberal arts, लोगों को लगता है कि सिर्फ arts के subjects है. That's not true. It's got a lot of commerce and a science and a lot of other courses as well. So in your first year, you can take some 5-6 subjects. I can take computer science, I can take finance, I can take media, I can take psychology, I can take political science, some combination that I want. And then as I go along, I can major in a subject and take some minor subjects. This keeps that exploration option open even when you get into college. And it's a relatively new thing. Right now, only the deemed universities are offering it. It's not under Mumbai Pune University yet, which means you need an entrance exam to get into it. And that's why I've kept it there. It's open to all the streams. And then finally, we have bachelor's of statistics, bachelor's of mathematics, bachelor's of data science. How many of you here like mathematics? Which is quite a significant amount, given that parents mein se koi nahi none of the parents, yeah, I know you have your hand up, but yeah, quite a few. I also have my hand up on this one, because at some point you need to learn something which is exact, right? Oh, ambiguity, I get very anxious when I read a subject which is open to interpretation. Thoda sa, I always look for some finality to it, which is not a good thing because life doesn't work like that. Mathematicians are not very social beings anyways. So you need other skills to survive in life. But I am in that mold, right? So that's how it is. So here again, like sir had mentioned, there's an Indian Statistical Institute. There are other mathematical institutes which have a combination of either computer science and maths, or physics and maths, or pure stats, or there are some data science and data analytics bachelor's courses which are now coming up with deemed universities. So if you like maths and stats, okay, here's a question that I used to ask in school, right? If I'm not pursuing a career in mathematics, my profession is not that, right? I'm in some other corporate job. Where would you use some concepts of maths and stats? Here's a question for the students. You guys are in class 9, 10, 11, 12, I presume. So tell me one thing that you know of, some fundamental in maths and stats that you think can be used in life, even if you're not pursuing a pure mathematics kind of a profession. Yes. Business. Kyun? Haan. Okay. I understood. But here's where I'll make a difference between arithmetic and mathematics. What you're talking about here is arithmetic. Adding, subtracting, वो तो हो जाएगा. वो तो सबको चाहिए. You can't do without it. It's an essential survival tool. Absolutely. But I'm talking about mathematics here. I'm going to come to you, sir. I just want to see what the students have in mind. Yes? So tell me some terminology in statistics which you think will be useful in a regular job, like a take a guess. Thoda sa, just try and build some linkages. I'll give you some time for it. I'll come back to you. Yes?
Like for interpretation of data, you use statistics to make graphs and stuff.
इतना relegate मत करो कि graph के लिए ही है. You are right, that's the output, but you are actually discounting it a fair bit, saying okay, statistics is data से graph बनाया तो statistics. Like there's more to it. There's something in the middle. From millions of data cells to a graph which has a trend line, there is something in the middle which is statistics. Anything there? You also had your hand up? Okay, yeah. Tell me how. You're talking about the stocks and the bond markets, that kind of trading. Okay. So मुझे लगा marketing में कैसे होगा, but you're right. So stocks and all of that. So yeah, absolutely. So there are two ways to do that. One is where you get into the business and how the business works well and all. That is the fundamental way of trading in stocks and bonds. The other thing is just look at charts, right? So they will set some ceiling and floor, and उसमें थोड़ा formulas inbuilt होगा, and if you are breaching that, you will either trigger a buy or a sell transaction. So you're absolutely right. A lot of quantitative assessment is done in the financial markets.
The thing is that we have a very different concept regarding mathematics. And when we talk about mathematics, we talk about only data and all those, numbers and your data science, all those stuff. And this is recent trend, right? Mathematics is not like that. So there is some deeper things that we have to understand regarding mathematics, that how mathematics is used in real life scenarios. Now, have you ever seen a tire, a motor vehicle tire, right? How it has been designed. Have you ever noticed that? That's mathematics. That's known as fluid dynamics. When you are driving the car, if your fluid dynamics is more, then you will skid. You'll face accidents and stuff like that. How mathematics is used there, that is the real mathematics, where you use fluid dynamics. That's a branch in the mathematics, and then you design the car tires. That is one application of it. Now, many of us probably don't know that, right? That is one thing. Second thing is that how ball bearing works. Right? How the ball bearing works and how smooth we can make the ball bearing, so that when we are using our washing machine, it has some 1000 RPMs per minute and something like that, right? How we can make that ball bearing work in that faster mode. That is known as fluid dynamics. That's another applications of pure mathematics, right? Another couple of things that I wanted to give you some examples of pure mathematics that you can pursue those careers, right? Data science is I don't mind people going in data science and all those things, but those are very flimsy side of the mathematics. Sorry for my language. My sincere apologies. Yeah. Okay, sure, I'll be neutral. So the another thing is that we see many cartoon movies, correct? Right? Now in cartoon movies, what happens is that you see a flag blowing in the window or flowing in the window, something like that, right? How this design happens. You have to understand that. There is a science behind that. That is known as algebraic topology. It's a higher forms of mathematics. When you go deeper into those concepts, then you can be better at designing graphics. Or rather, I would say that what we normally do is that we take some software tools and then we design the graphics. That's not the point what we should pursue for. We should pursue for the algorithms which is running behind that software. So that is known as algebraic topology. So if you understand those concepts, then you can design your own games. Or somebody said that I want to game designer and so on and so forth. So you need to go for that algebraic topology and stuff like that. So if you understand those concepts, then you can go more deeper into those kinds. That was just pure mathematics. Another example that I'll give you. Now we see Star Trek movies, right? That people go from one space to another space and space jumps and all the stuff. That happens only by algebraic topology concepts. So that is another pure branch of mathematics. So these are known as real mathematics. And if you don't understand those mathematics, then only doing data science is good. But it's another way of looking at it. Thank you.
So unfortunately, I'm not from a psychology or a counseling background to say that. I'm more like a management grad and just trying to explore careers with you. But because I've been associated with this space and people have asked me this in the past. So two parts to the question. Psychometric testing, is it of any use? And second is, how do you go about making that choice? Let me address the second one first. Suppose, students, I give you two images which are fairly identical with a little spot the difference, right? So you will like focus, you will try and look at what are the proportions of the object, some lines which are drawn. You try and find out what is the difference between and try and pick that difference and try and look at it in further detail. Yahan pe bhi on the outside, a lot of these careers look the same, right? But the more you know about it, you are able to differentiate. And the more you differentiate, you will be able to make a decision. Decision making can only happen when you know what is different between the options. That differentiation is the basis for decision making. Because right now everything is looking blurry, right? There's a lot of overlap. Differentiation kab hoga? When you get to know more about it. How do you get to know more about it? By reading about it, speaking to people, possibly doing an internship if you can, speaking to people who are doing that course, have done that course, have moved on in life and have made some changes. They will talk about. So let me give you one statistic. 70% of the people are working in a profession which has got nothing to do with their undergrad, bachelor's degree. Their bachelor's degree and what they're doing now is not related. Possibly masters mein correlation thoda zyada hai, but at a bachelor's level the correlation is not that much. Because, and especially in the Western world, I know a lot of my friends in consulting, they have done like a bachelor's in theology and then an MBA from Harvard and into consulting. They've done a bachelor's in philosophy, right? And some other, and they have this liberal arts system, so you can actually club a lot of subjects with that. And then they get into law and they are like lawyers now. So their undergrad course is a purely academic pursuit. Listen to this. The undergrad course, in the real sense, the bachelor's degree, is a purely academic pursuit. I like that subject, I want to learn more. The master's course is now where you're trying to align yourself to a profession. So which is why this MBA and all of that comes, abhi job and all of that, to uske liye wo. But then the bachelor's is essentially supposed to be a purely academic pursuit. I like that subject. I want to spend the next 4 years studying it. That is how it is. Yahan pe abhi that master's ka approach is now coming into the bachelor's approach as to how will we use this. And fair enough, that's the requirement of the market. Now, how do I go about making that differentiation? So that is exactly what I'm trying to attempt here. And in the presentation that I will send to you, I have actually tried to focus on that, the differentiating factors on what otherwise are fairly similar looking careers, right? So that's the only way if you ask me. And especially for the students, right? They spend a lot of time with their mobile phones and social media. There are lots of resources out there where you can, and I do that a lot of the time, a day in the life of a pilot, a day in the life of an architect, a day in the life of a psychologist. Show me visually what it looks like. So they give you a walkthrough. Morning mein main lawyer hu. You think I'm going to a court and arguing a case? No, I'm going through a huge file and doing markups. Right? Word document mein markups mein baithe rehte hai. That's like what a lot of lawyers do. So you'll say, "Arey, I'm a good orator, but yahan pe to main document kar raha hu." Right? So you get a sense of what that course is about. A lot of people say, people who do say commerce, right? They get into accounting. How many commerce students you know who are now into an accounting role? Right? A lot of that accounting is now merged with regular management, business analysis, many other skills. You don't need that pure accounting role anymore. You need to now club it with other areas of management and finance and taxation and so on, right? So I think that is one way where you can use some of these resources to know more. So that's the only way in my mind. If you know more about it, you will be able to differentiate. If you're able to differentiate, you will be able to choose one over the other. And again, most of the time, I don't think we will arrive at one option. It will usually be 2-3 options that we will narrow down to. And then for usme, we'll have to play around with it. Now, the second part of the question, psychometric testing, does it work? Everything else is just perception. Psychometric test is the closest you have to some data, right? And these are a lot of, if the prominent ones, they use standardized tests, which means that has been used on millions of students of that age group, socio-economic profile, language that you're learning and all of that, right? So that kind of macro applies to your psychometric testing. So there is some science about it. It's not an exact science. Directionally, at least, it will tell you. I know I've seen some of these reports. It gives you an aptitude graph. It's a bar chart with mechanical aptitude, spatial aptitude, reasoning, this, that, etc. Right? At least utna bhi pata chalega ki what am I good at, because you don't prepare for an aptitude test, psychometric test. You just take it because that's inherently what you know. And then if you know your strengths and weaknesses, you'll be able to point it to certain careers. So I think it's a good input to have, but then again, that itself is not enough. They still need to do that exploration and get to know more about it. There's no other way in this career making. Otherwise, my career path also would have been very different if there was some other scientific way of doing it. But this is social science in a way. And then we have to use some judgment and some data and then try and make that decision. You look disappointed with the answer, I know, but this is the best I can offer you, right? Yes, ma'am. You tell me, ma'am. Acha. So it's in about 5 minutes, let's do that. We will break for tea, 5 to 7 minutes. I just want to finish some parts of it and then we go on. All right. So this is the group where it's still a bachelor's degree course. 90% of the time you don't need an entrance exam. If you think just you're struggling with school, 9, 10, 11, 12, where will I prepare for another exam? I just need to focus on one thing and I'll do it right. So then you can look at a lot of options in group B. You don't have to take an entrance exam. It's not mandatory. There are lots of good courses you can get into it here as well. But if you think, nahi, there are some other professional courses I need to try for and there are some exams for it, yeah. And if you think you can manage it along with your 11th and 12th, then that's how you need to look at group A and B, right? Perfectly okay if you say, I want to do a BA in psychology and I want to do it from, say, a Xavier's college in Mumbai, which is supposed to be one of the better ones. I know that the cutoff to get into that college is, say, some 98% in 12th, and I will prepare in my 11th and 12th to get those marks to get into it. Forget about an entrance exam. Great. Good option. Even if you're looking at, say a BA in economics, Shri Ram College of Commerce in Delhi, Stephens in Delhi, cutoff kitna hai? 100% cutoff, right? So kahan pe tum entrance exam karoge? You just get one thing right and that's enough, right? So don't get bogged down with this entrance exam. It's not like everyone needs to take an entrance exam. A lot of students ask me that all my friends are taking entrance, which one should I take? Like, which entrance is not the question. Which course do you want to do? First you answer that. Then we will see whether you even need an entrance or not. Just don't go shopping for entrance exam. Arey form nikal raha hai. Arey ye last date hai. Should I apply? Arey hang on, dude. You don't need to just buy all the forms and prospectuses available and apply for it. Just firstly make a choice on courses. And then we will figure out whether you at all need an entrance exam and to what extent, right? Now, let's look at group C. Any guesses what do you think will come under sciences professional certification with an entrance exam? PhD, 12th ke baad. All this is after 12th, right? What are we doing here? After 10th, if I take science, after that commerce, humanities and common. After 12th, which are the courses? So this is the choice after 10th and these are the courses after 12th. So if I make this choice after 10th and this choice after 12th, what do I get in? So everything here is courses after 12th for which you need to make some choices starting 10th, right? And in some cases, if it's an ICSE school, even in class 9, you have to make some subject choices. What do you think will come here? Science specific professional certification with an entrance. Sorry? Labs, okay, huh. A lot of diploma courses, certificate courses are there, you are right. But there's one major one which a lot of students usually talk about. So this is a course called a commercial pilot. Because yahan pe there are no bachelor's degree courses. People generally club it with BSc aviation. A lot of courses or colleges that offer a BSc aviation give you that commercial pilot license course as a part of it. But if you just do a CPL, a commercial pilot license course, at the end of 2 years, you have a license to fly. Are you a graduate? Do you have a bachelor's degree? Can you pursue a postgrad? No, you can't, because you have a license. It's like license to ride a bike or to drive a car. right? But I need a graduation to do something after that, which is why a lot of people club this with something else. And one common option is this BSc Aviation with this, because the same college offers some kind of an integrated option. So you don't have to run behind two things, right? So that's one thing which is fairly popular that way. Commerce mein to you've already told me a lot. Tell me about it. CA, CS, ICWA, ACCA, all those options. There are a few others. There's CMA, Cost and Works Accountant is now called Cost and Management Accountant. What we call Chartered Accountancy in India. In the US, they call it Certified Public Accountant, right? It's synonymous. What do you think will come under, okay, humanities ka bhi, it's getting pushed into common. So there's something under common that we've mentioned earlier, professional certification, open to all the streams. IAS again, civil services after graduation. Nothing you can do about it after 12th other than pursuing an undergrad. But, and even CFA, what I've put here is after graduation. You can start in the last year of your bachelor's degree actually, if you want to do it. But then actuarial science is a professional certification course like chartered accountancy that you can start after 12th and do it along with a bachelor's course like BSc statistics, BSc economics, BSc finance, whatever. Even a regular BCom you can do a actuarial science or a regular BSc, right? So this is a fairly unknown option that way. But remember, this entire group C requires you to have an entrance exam. And people spend 11th and 12th pursuing an entrance exam. Which is why you will see here in your decision making that very few people will choose a professional certification course along with a group A. Very few, unless I'm looking at actuarial science and BSc kind of an option. Otherwise, they will look at group C along with B, because here also there is an entrance exam, here also there is an entrance exam. There are 2 entrance exams to prepare for in addition to 11th and 12th. So A and C is a lot of work. You can still do it, but it's a lot of work. B and C is what generally people go for. Or you can completely ignore C. Not necessary that you need to do a professional certification. You can only choose a bachelor's degree and do some extracurricular courses with that. And then finally, before we take a break, there is a group D, which is a common lot for all. It's a certification course, is not very formal, doesn't require an entrance exam. Suppose you want to learn some courses in advanced Excel, something in some short course in artificial intelligence, if you want to learn a foreign language. I was looking at some statistics. Which one do you think is the fastest growing foreign language in India? German is already very big. Fastest growing. French is big, no, as in a lot of people in school and college. Mandarin, absolutely. In terms of growth, I'm not saying numbers, absolute numbers, in terms of growth. Mandarin, Spanish, people are, Japanese also to some extent. So a lot of other languages are picking up, and you can actually pick up something like that along with your college, right? You're doing something like that. You can do this later on. For all you know, a lot of people actually make a profession out of what they've done on the side, not what they've done for a basic academic course. It happens that way. जो साथ में pursue किया था उसका profession बन गया, main course nowhere in the picture. So you never know. Foreign language can make you a translator and an interpreter. That's a big role, and we're going to talk about it in the second half. Then there are some courses in Excel called financial modeling if you're interested in some kinds of projections and valuations. Some stock market courses which are offered for college students. Digital marketing is big. When you're marketing your product on the internet, whether it's social media, regular internet websites and all of that, that comes under digital marketing. And it's a certificate course that a lot of people are doing these days. One of the most popular certificate courses done by people from any kind of background, which is why I've merged it into one cell. Right? Then there's an ISEC. Have you heard about this by any chance? ISEC, AISEC. Okay, it's a student, it's an international student body where students can become members, and they, once you're members, you can opt for a lot of volunteering opportunities, internship opportunities. They conduct a lot of debates. They call for a panel discussion, an entrepreneurship incubation cell. A lot of things outside college formally is done at a worldwide level by a common body called ISEC. So if you're a member of that, you get access to a lot of things that you can do along with college, and it stands very well on your CV, right? Then there are lots of online courses, Coursera, platforms where you can do a lot of courses. Staying in India, I can do an artificial intelligence course from Harvard University, 10-month program, video lectures, and I can get a certificate for it, right? A lot of these e-learning platforms have given you that. Then there are lots of these travel and tourism kinds of courses. IATA is a travel and tourism certification course if you want to get into ticketing and tourism and stuff like that. Cabin crew and airport operations, if you want to become a cabin crew, right? So you have these cabin crew kinds of courses. Even ground staff, there are courses for it. These are certification courses, diploma courses, not a graduation. Public speaking, why would anyone want to do this? Don't again say neta ke liye. Beyond that, this though is not very valued, I must say. Possibly something bigger. Journalism, motivation, influencer, event management. Conference room में 5 लोग बैठे, you're trying to communicate some concept, that's public speaking. Everywhere it is required. Don't think that it's only for some careers and otherwise it's not required. It's an essential thing. And there is an Indo-American society, there's a British council, they have these public speaking courses, summer vacation courses. बहुत interesting होता है. Starting में they will give you some time to prepare. You prepare for a week and then next Sunday you go and present it to the rest of the class. Towards the end it will be extempore. You'll pick up a chit. कुछ तो होगा कि the Scandinavian economy and its impact on the world spice market. Abhi baat karo 5 minutes without preparing. That's what it is all about, right? Some abstract topic they will give. They'll give you 2 minutes to think about it. Now present for 5 minutes in front of the class. It's not about the content. When you get into public speaking, you will realize that it's not about the subject matter. It is about how can you talk about something in a structured manner, even if something is new to you. And how can you like blend it into a story which is interesting for an audience. That is public speaking. So they will start with topics comfortable to you and they will take you into the realm of abstract that you will say, hang on, what does this even mean for me to talk 5 minutes about it, right? And then that's, I've seen some of these programs. It's come up in a big way these days. I think it's a must for all of you. At least it will get rid of your stage fright. Starting mein na, they will insult you absolutely. They will say, why are you looking down? Why are you looking to the ceiling? Can't you make eye contact? Are you not sure about what you're talking about? They will yawn on your face. They will walk out. And these are the moderators of that course. And they will actually make an absolute fool of you. And then again, and again, and again. And after 3-4 times, you will say it doesn't matter. And now when it doesn't matter, now you suddenly have this confidence. हाँ बताओ, कौन सा topic है? मैं बताता हूँ. I know nothing about it, but I'll speak for 5 minutes about it. Why? Because they've absolutely rubbed your nose to the ground. पूरा जो ego था ना, खत्म. अभी आओ तुम और अभी topic के बारे में बात करो. And it's very good, right? Some of this ego needs to be actually nullified before you can get that. You think I know anything about career counseling? Really? I've done a lot of research about courses, but if you ask me this versus that, I don't know. I'm here to present a lot of my research material confidently. That's about it.
We would take this opportunity to thank Shadab sir with a small token of appreciation from the Dhruv family. May I request Mr. Ashish Malpani sir to please join us on stage and ma'am to present sir with a memento and an appreciation letter.